are two of the best-known sports minds in Toledo, and they're talking sports right here on our airwaves. They are Corso and Cole.
Hi, Tom Cole for BCSN, and I'll tell you what, I always say it's an honor and a privilege, and this time I really mean it. I'm with my partner, Frank Corso. Frank, for those of you that don't know, I'm sure most of you do, 42 years, and I'll say that again, 42 years in the newspaper industry. Incredible career, fantastic endeavor here in Toledo with the Toledo Blade Sports. And Frank, something like that, when you have 42 years of your life dedicated to journalism, to sports, has it sunk in yet that, you kind of called it a day last Friday?
I can now look at a game, Tom, and not look at the clock, worry whether we're going to get the game in for the deadline and things like that. And it's just it's a part of it's a part of a life cycle. 42 years in the rat race, and it's exciting. I mean, it was never a dull day. It was never a dull day in journalism. You have to be first, fast, accurate. It's fun. It was always fun, and you try to make it fun for the writers. Yeah. And for the other people who work with you.
Is there one story that sticks to you that you say, we got it, but we didn't get all of it? There's more there. Is there something that strikes you, that a story that, we covered it, but I think, we didn't get it all?
The UT gambling
That's
probe,
right. That's kind of where I was
going. That was from out of left field, and some of the people who were charged with providing information and things like that were kind of head scratchers. Like our columnist at the time, Dave Hackenberg, said, the people on the football team, they couldn't much less fix a flat, much less a game.
Right.
So it just goes to show you that information is key to gamblers.
Yeah.
And at the time, we didn't know it, but there's $450,000 being waged on a UT football game.
Right.
And when normally a MAC game is played, they're lucky they get $4,500 to $20,000. So that story, we got enough of it, but it's hard to grasp. It's hard to grasp it.
Well, you've always said, and I let fans in on this because it would sound a little bit like an oxymoron to some people, but you've always been a believer that Vegas is really kind of a watchdog of gambling, because when something is out of sync, something's wrong, they take the game off the board and they draw attention to it.
Absolutely, Tom. They believe it or not, the books in Vegas, they legitimize sports. And the NFL, even in the 60s and 70s, they had a plant in Vegas that wanted to know what the lines were to make sure that the games were on the up and up. Now, nowadays, you can, my dad once said, money makes the blind see.
Right.
And when you're talking about greed and money and gambling and things like that, what's the number one thing you're looking for? Information.
Right.
Like, if you have more information on one team than another team, that's an important segment.
Or who's hurt?
What
quarterback has a sore arm? What running back isn't at 100%? Maybe he's at 70%. That stuff is big time gold. Let's do some Corso quick hits. I'll just throw a topic out there. There's been so many things since R&R, Corso and Cole has been shut down for the summer, and we're back October 2nd on Monday with Corso and Cole at 6 p.m. But I'll just throw a couple quick things out. You give me your Corso blast on it. Well, first of all, the Indians. You didn't see that coming, did you?
No, and if anybody said they saw it coming,
right.
They're crazy. No, this is like one of the coolest runs that I've ever seen. I mean, 22 straight games without losing. I mean, I'm a Phillies fan. In 1961, the Phillies lost 23 straight games.
How about Kaiser with the Browns?
I think it's a terrific story. Local kid makes good. I just hope and pray that he has a stable front office. He has a stable head coach and a stable offensive coordinator, because that hasn't been the Browns' MO in the last 17, 18 years since they've come back.
Old English D, Tigers 30 out. What about the Tigers situation?
Oh, it's woeful. I feel bad for them because, the Phillies are undergoing a remake, a redo, a restart, and it's hard to see J.D. Martinez hit 23 home runs in like
4 in one day. How about that?
It's 23 home runs, and everybody knows he's such a good player. But that Candelario kid is
he looks like a player. He looks like a player.
And a lot of people pan that trade. You never know in baseball trades.
Yeah, you don't know.
I mean, come back to me in 3 or 4 years. If JD signs with if he signs with Arizona for next season, it'll be a good deal for them.
How about Mayfield when he ran around the field? I had this. This is my take. 34-year-old head coach at Oklahoma, one of the youngest in the country. Great coach, brilliant guy. A more mature, older coach would have stopped that. He would have grabbed them and said, listen, you played a great game, Baker. Get your derriere into the locker room and celebrate inside with your teammates. Don't run around the stadium. Don't throw the flag down in the middle. That's Bush League, Frank. It's total Bush League.
It is. I'm not going to say it's not.
But wouldn't the more mature coach say, don't do it?
I'm afraid that the coach is not worrying about the player's reaction on the field. The coach is doing 17 interviews on his way to the locker room.
But shouldn't he be worried about that?
No, because, you can't be worried about kids on the field.
That reflects on your program, Frank.
But eventually. And the kid, and to his credit, he came out and apologized. But I'll tell you what, if I was a Buckeye fan, if I was a Buckeye and I saw that, there would have been a rumble.
It'd be like me coming over to your house and stealing your car, and then a week later I come back and say, I'm sorry, Frank.
You don't have to steal it. I'll give it to you. It's a 2011 Fusion.
It runs pretty well. Hey, listen, Frank, I want to talk about October 2nd. We're going to be back on with the Corsoe show, 6 p.m. on BCSN. We've done a version of this show for 10 years, and we're so honored and privileged to be able to do it on BCSN. Are you looking forward to starting it back up again?
Absolutely. You could say I could save my venom for you now. I don't have to put it off to the side. I don't have to put it off to the side.
Yeah.
I can go through a couple of days and write my notes out and attack you. And I'm looking forward to working with Brad Woznicki. I'm happy for Ashley Karsten, who is furthering her career in broadcast journalism down in Dayton. Ashley was the rose between two thorns, but it was a great, it was a good show, a good topic.
Yeah, and Levi Schroeder, our producer, did a great job, and Ashley was wonderful, and Brad will be super. Brad has great sports knowledge, and he'll do an outstanding job. All right, Mr. Corsoe, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for what you've done for Toledo in the Blade Sports. You represented this city in a class fashion. You're always honest and fair with everybody. It's been an incredible ride with the Blade, and we'll just continue with the Corsoe ride on BCSN with the Corsoe show.
Tommy, if I was a hockey coach, I would say I'm going to give all the credit to the Blade organization. So that's the way I look at it.
All right. Tom Cole for BCSN.